Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to Livestream Tuesday. I hope you guys have had a great day wherever you are, and I hope you're all staying safe and isolating wherever possible in these crazy times. I want to say a massive hello to everybody who was waiting before the live stream, and let's get you guys up on screen in the live chat room because we have Lucy and Teacher Man 1955, Carla and Laura and Jennifer, and Music Maiden Beach Girl, Jeannie, and Ginger, Duran and Vince, and Carla, Patrick, Lisa again, Music Maiden again. Hello guys, thank you for joining me, and thank you moderators for joining me tonight as well. Laurie's in there with Carla just watching over things before the live stream even starts. We have a lot of action going on, so thank you everybody for joining me tonight, and without further ado, let's get the patrons' names up on screen because these are the people that actually allow everything to happen in the first place, and these are going along the bottom of the screen as they always do in these live streams. So a massive thank you to you guys as well. You know who you are, and this is where I play all of the videos and requests from Patreon, because I do ask people over there to let me know what they want to hear on these live streams. So we will get into that, and I can see that Carla has popped into the live super chat window thing that should be on screen. There it is. Took a little bit of time to appear, but it did pop up eventually. Thank you, Carla, for this $4.99 donation, and it is a straight up donation without a message, but thank you so much for that. So we will be getting into the live stream as always. We're going to be playing a few originals and a cover in there as well, and hopefully everything works fine. It was a bit tight tonight, as I said in the live chat room just before we went live, because I almost forgot my mug and my orange squash, but here it is in the Spike the Likes mug, and we have another mug shot which we will be looking at later on, and that is Kathleen, who has uploaded a picture to the Facebook page, or the supporters page on Facebook, so thank you for that, and we will be showing that a little bit later on. But thank you everybody for uploading those to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook, which you guys can find if you want to. I might take you guys through the process that I did last time as well, just to show you how to get to that page if you're not sure how to navigate there. But we've had another donation in the super chat window, and this is from Gina. Thank you for that. The message and the donation, first of all, is $9.99. The message is, my Spike the Likes cup has arrived. Here is a bit of squash cash, much love. So thank you for that, Gina. And technically here, we could start calling it the Spike the Likes cup, but it's definitely classed as a mug here in the UK. A cup is a lot smaller, and generally you hold with your thumb and your first finger because it's a lot smaller. You can't use your whole hand to hold it, whereas a mug, you can get your whole hand around the handle, and I think that's the main difference between them, just one's bigger. So it's definitely a mug, but thank you for that, Gina. And Jen is in the house as well and has donated $5. Thank you for that. The message is, I understand that you guys have a lottery over there. Do you ever play the numbers or buy scratch-offs? With an inquisitive face. So here we do have the scratch cards, we call them, where you scratch off things to see if you get 3 or 4 or 5 things in a row. I don't get those, but I do play the lottery, and that is something that I think a few months ago I won about 75 or 90 pounds, something like that, so it was pretty good. And it's something that I'd totally forgotten about because I play it by direct debit, which means that they just take the £2 off the, well, it's automatic, so it comes off the debit card and out of my account just every week, I think it is. And yeah, for every draw, I think there's actually 2 draws a week, but for every draw I have a ticket in there, but I just don't pay any attention to it. And my thought is that if it does win, then it's a bonus, but I'm not pinning all of my hopes on the lottery. So it is something that just happens automatically. And yeah, a few weeks ago, maybe last month, I did actually win some money, which was amazing. But Other than that, I don't play. I'm not into gambling or anything like that because I pretty much know how it works with gambling, and as soon as you get roped into that, it can get addictive and then people end up with real problems. And it's also, I did actually get a free bet. These things that try and get you to join in, and they said, put this bet on for free, so I did, and it was about £20 or something stupid, and it was on a football match, and the team that I bet on won. And they won, they were the underdogs, so I thought, oh great, I'm going to win lots of money. But then the betting company got in touch and said, you got the result right, but they won in extra time, which wasn't the main match, so you don't get any winnings. And from then on, I thought, right, well, that isn't true because I bet on the underdogs who won the match in extra time. But then they said, oh no, they won the match, but not how we say they won the match. So I didn't win, and it was ridiculous because my bet was true and it did win. But anyway, I wasn't betting anyway, it's just a free bet, and it's something that I'll never get into either. But the lottery is just something that I can just do that direct debit, and it'll be just £2 a week, and I don't have to worry about it. And if it wins, great, it's all a bonus. But then if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. But anyway, a long story, but thank you so much. We've had some more super chat donations as well, so thank you so much for that. Jen and Ginger Duran has donated $5 as well. Thank you for that. The message is, I truly enjoyed your analysis of Sammy Davis Jr., so with a smiley face. So thank you for that, Ginger Duran. And this is something that last night, I mean, it did go on for a little bit longer than normal, the analysis video, and I didn't even mention in it that Jerry Jeff Walker was the songwriter for that song, and he did it for his album. And the interesting thing about that is, I'm not going to turn this into an analysis video, but it's something that I didn't fit into the analysis video last night because it went on for 27 minutes and I didn't even talk about the song. But anyway, Jerry wrote it after one of his experiences. It's a true story that he went into a jail and started talking to a few guys, but one of them was called Mr. Bojangles. And it was a homeless guy who was a street performer. And the interesting thing is, of course, he told the police his name was Mr. Bojangles because he didn't want them to know his real name. And then he started talking about the reason that he got arrested. There was a high-profile murder in the town, and they were arresting homeless people because they were suspects. So anyway, they got talking, and then Mr. Bojangles started talking about his dog who had just died, and the mood really dropped, and somebody said, oh, can we do something to raise the mood? And Mr. Bojangles started tap dancing, and that is what inspired Jerry to write the song. So it's all real, and it's just a great story behind the song as well, something that I couldn't mention last night because I was running out of time, and I try and fit my videos to between 15 and 20 minutes. It just so happened that was about 27 minutes or something like that. But an interesting story nonetheless that I can now get out during the live stream. So thank you so much for that, Ginger Duran, for reminding me of that and the kind words about the analysis last night. And Linda's in the house as well and has donated $2. Thank you so much for that. The message is, it's a mug in the US too. So thank you for that, Linda, for that clarification. And Christine's in the house as well. Hello, Christine. This is a donation of $10. Thank you for that. And it's the guy flying through the air. And this is the guy who does the working out and thanks for being you or something like that, he says as well. So he gets up to a lot during these live streams. Thank you, Christine, for that. And Carl is in the house as well and has donated $5. We all know what that is for, but thank you, Carl. It is for the Cross the Pond Fund, getting in early on, and happy birthday, Pete Townsend. So yes, a happy birthday to Pete. I don't think he's watching, but maybe if we send some positive energy, then it would be something that people can really feel across the waves of the internet, if it's even waves. I don't know how the internet works, what it all is. I guess Wi-Fi, maybe we can describe that as waves. But anyway, Carl, thank you so much for that. And Mr. DJC74 has donated $4.99. So thank you for that donation. And there was another one straight afterwards. So thank you for the double donation. If that was accidental, don't worry, we can sort that out. But it's CMRJC74. There must be a better way that I can say that. Maybe C Mr. JC74. That's probably a bit better. The message is, you're awesome, Phil. Happy to support a cool dude. So thank you for the kind words and that donation. And Franco Nico has donated $5 as well. Thank you for that. The message is, have a great week. Be safe. So thank you for that. And I'm sure that is something that everybody hopefully is doing at the moment, just taking care. I know that at the moment, especially here in the UK, people are trying to get back to normal and saying, when are the schools going to open again? When are businesses going to start again? But it is such a serious situation. I think people just have to hold on a little bit longer until we really get control of this virus and try and self-isolate as well as much as possible, but also socially distance, so keeping that 2-meter gap between you and the nearest person to you. But thank you, Franco, for that. And Marilyn is in the house as well and has donated $25, and Marilyn became a patron today as well, so thank you for that. And the message is, Phil, I want to say thank you for all your hard work by making a toast to you. So, on the count of 3, please raise your orange crush squash, and we will raise ours. And my toast is, and that's how it's done, with a heart. So thank you for that, Marilyn, and we'll give it a go. Why not? So we're saying 1, 2, 3, and that's how it's done. And cheers. I'll say that as well. Have a little drink. And I've got the mix just right on the orange squash tonight. So it's all going well, because sometimes it's too strong, sometimes it's too weak. But tonight is a good one. But thank you for that, Marilyn. And Lynn is in the house. We are going to get into the first video at some point. Thank you guys so much for these donations. And if we do get a chance as well, if you could hit that thumbs up, it would be massively appreciated. We try to get to 200 likes in these live streams, and we will see if we can get there tonight as well. But back to Lynn in the super chat window. She has donated $50. Thank you so much for that. The message is, thanks for the Jerry Jeff Walker story. I wanted the analysis video to go on forever. So thank you for that, Lynn. And if it did go on forever, then this live stream would never happen. So it would come with a cost. But thank you, Lynn, so much for that. Mona's in the house as well and has donated $20. Thank you, Mona. The message is, thank you, Phil. You have opened up my small music world. I now enjoy and appreciate Patsy Cline and Greta Van Fleet. So thank you for that, Mona, and it's my pleasure. For anyone that is interested in music in general, I think it's great to listen to so many different bands, because they all have so many things in common, and that's why they're successful, because they all share these things that you can start to latch on to and appreciate about so many different performers in loads of different genres. But thank you, Mona, for that. Kathleen is in the house and has donated $10. Thank you for that, Kathleen. And like I mentioned earlier, we do have that picture which we will look at later. But thank you, Kathleen, for that donation of $10 and uploading your picture to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook. The message is, I call you Mr. Music. So thank you for that. And that is the name of the shop that I used to teach in and at. It was called Mr. Music, and there was I was going to say studio, but it wasn't really. It was more like a storeroom at the back where I used to teach everybody who would apply for lessons through the shop. So yeah, I technically was Mr. Music because my shirt had that on, so that's what people thought. So it's interesting that that is what you call me, Kathleen, but thank you for that. Marge has donated $2. Thank you for that, Marge. And that's a straight up donation. And Glamgal710, this is Karen, has donated $2. Thank you for that, Karen. The message is, hi Phil, a cyber orange squash on me. Cheers, Karen. So thank you for that. And Vince is in the house as well. And Vince has donated $5. The message is, Jennifer's son asked, Phil, did having anyone in your house being musical help you a lot? And I think undoubtedly it has helped listening to music, but also my mum and dad listen to a lot of music and have probably different tastes. My dad is more towards rock and maybe hard rock, but mainstream rock really. I'd say the kind of Boston sound, obviously Jimi Hendrix, which all you guys know is where I got into it all to begin with, but that was all from his record collection. So all of those rock bands were his side of things. My mum probably listened to more pop-based stuff, but then also a bit of Motown here or there. There's a massive mix that was always prevalent whenever I'd be in the car and they're listening to the radio or listening to a tape. It was always a bit random as to what you were going to hear, which I think was probably great for me growing up, listening to lots of different genres and not just being put in front of the speakers when something was playing that was just one genre. Because sometimes you have people who are very specific in what they like and then what their kids listen to, and it's a very particular band or a very particular style of music. But I didn't have that. I listened to all sorts, and then I just happened to get into the more hard rock side of things from my dad's side of things, but I don't think he listened to the hard rock stuff like Whitesnake and the classic 80s bands, Bon Jovi, all that kind of stuff. Maybe a bit of Bon Jovi, but yeah, more kind of classic rock from the 70s that he was into and is into. But thank you, Vince, for that. And obviously my dad playing guitar as well. That was, I think, something that started my interest in it, and also the fact that he would play other instruments and drums and keys and all that kind of stuff. It's something that definitely does help, because if you have a question, you've got somebody that you can ask about the guitar or about a particular chord. So yeah, I think it is an advantage if you do have somebody in the family who is also musical. So thank you for that, Vince. And Tim has donated $20 as well. Thank you for that, Tim. The message is, thanks, mate, for the great music insight from a Brit in Minnesota. So thank you for that, Tim. And no problem. This is just something that I enjoy doing, and as long as people enjoy me doing it, I'll keep on doing these analysis videos on the channel and keep on looking at the videos that are sent to me and requested. But thank you, Tim, for that. And I'm not sure what the temperature is, what the weather's like in Minnesota, but certainly here in the UK it's starting to warm up. It's not crazy warm yet, but it is here, so I'm not sure whether it is super hot in Minnesota. I think if it was super hot, it's not something that I deal with particularly well, but we are going to be moving into the first video because we're almost 20 minutes into the live stream and we haven't looked at anything yet. So thank you everybody for the super chat donations and everybody for joining me tonight in the live chat room as well. And if you do get a chance, you can hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. It really does help this live stream to get out there and the channel to grow as a whole. But we will get into this first request video, I promise. So this was Teresa over on Patreon who has requested Hero. It's going to be the lyric video version of it, and as always we'll play a cover and a couple more videos before the end of this live stream. But I hope you guys enjoy this. As always, I'll be in the live chat room while this is playing, and I'll see you guys after. Rock! And there we have it. That was my song called Hero. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. And we have had a little bit more action in the super chat window. So let's get this up on screen. And it is going to be something that I'm going to have to scroll up to see. So thank you everybody for these donations tonight. And Lucy is in the house. I'm just going to scroll up to make sure that I don't miss anybody. But Lucy is in the house. I think this was the next one because Tim said about the Minnesota. He didn't say about the weather, that was me, but being a Brit in Minnesota. Lucy is in the house, has donated $14.99. Thank you so much for that. The message is for the Cross the Pond Fund. What was the worst live performance you heard besides the auto-tune with a laughing face and some rock, a heart and peace? And I'm not sure, probably it's got to be one of those performances that isn't even live, where they've tried to do was it there was a female artist called something like Simpson or Ashley Simpson, was that something like that, where the performance was supposed to start and it didn't start, but then it did start, and the song that came on, obviously it was going to be a mimed performance, lip synced, and the band weren't playing, so they're just miming along to the recording of the track. I'm sure you guys have all seen this, and she's expecting it to be a different song, so she's not ready to do the vocal, and of course the vocal starts up and she's looking around and it's very embarrassing, and the excuse afterwards was that the people behind the scenes did the songs in the wrong order, so it wasn't her fault or something like that. So that's probably the worst live performance I've seen because it isn't live. It's something that I think when you're taking that kind of risk and purely relying on technology going right for you, if it goes wrong, that's potentially the end of your career, and it might have been for her because it was so widely seen, and especially with the internet nowadays, it just gets shared everywhere and people can see that you weren't playing live or even attempting to play live or attempting to sing live. I think on TV shows nowadays it is standard that they use a band, but it's a backing track, so the band are pretending to play, but it's pretty much, more often than not, a live vocal. But I don't think this was even a live vocal. It was just all supposed to be lip-synced, and it was all a bit embarrassing to watch. But that would have to go down. The only one that I can think of off the top of my head, and one of those that I think did get a lot of coverage and just sticks out. But anyway, thank you, Lucy, for that. And Kevin has donated $5. Thank you for that, Kevin. The message is Colonel Tom Moore is to be knighted after raising £33 million for NHS. Well done, Sir Tom. So that is amazing news that Colonel Tom Moore is to be knighted. So the thing is, if you don't know this story, you must do, but maybe it's just something that we know about here in the UK. But Colonel Tom Moore is a 100-year-old war veteran, and he started up a funding page or a charity page in order to raise money for the NHS, and his target was to do 100 laps of his garden, and he did those 100 laps, and there was so much money coming in that he said that he would just keep on walking as long as the money comes in. And long story short, he's raised over £33 million for the NHS, and he will be knighted. So fantastic news. Thank you for letting me know that, Kevin. And Liz has donated $20 as well. Thank you for that, Liz. It's the guy looking into the mirror who I mentioned earlier, and it says thanks for being you. So thank you for that, Liz. And Fred has donated $5. Thank you so much for that, Fred. A straight up donation and no message with that one. Vince has donated again, $10 this time. Thank you, Vince. The message is, wanted to suggest Wings of Pegasus caps again in colours too. I want turquoise. Jeannie R wants purple. What colour caps everyone. So that's something to throw out there into the live chat room if we start making caps available, which is something that I think is possible. I haven't looked into it yet, but if it is going to be possible, then yeah, maybe getting a few colours would be a good idea, and the most popular ones will be the ones that I can choose. I'll probably go for a black one because as you can see, I wear lots of clothing that is black, and dark is always good for me, so if I get a cap, then I'll probably just wear a dark one. So thank you, Vince, for that, but black will probably be an option from my input. Linda has donated $5 again. Thank you, Linda, for another donation. The message is, did someone suggest the Ed Sheeran foot pedal video, or did you think... Oh, hang on, the arrow is in the way of what I'm trying to see. Or did you think of it when you did the analysis of him recently? It was so good. So thank you for that, Linda. So when I did that first video on Ed Sheeran and his performance, but also I mentioned that I might do it in a future video, and then some people said, oh, it would be really interesting to have that in a future video. So I thought, rather than leave ages until following up with that one, that I would do it relatively close to the original video. And it is something that I did find interesting, just to have a look at what he does and how he uses his effects. Also, the guy, I think it was Mike, who originally hosted that video, it wasn't on YouTube, it was on a different site. So I had to, in that video, you can go back and listen to it, because all of the guitar that you can hear on that is me, because I've played it over the top in order for the video not to get blocked on copyrights on YouTube, because it's undoubtedly fair use, because it is teaching people about, and teaching everyone, not only about the song and the chords and everything that's going on, but the foot pedal, the technology, and you have to hear and see what he's doing in order to understand what's going on. So I thought that if I uploaded it and it got blocked and I had to take out the thing that I'm looking at, it would just be totally pointless. So I replayed all of the rhythm over the top, so effectively now it's my own cover of the Ed Sheeran song, so it's allowed, but I wanted to play it exactly how Ed did, so that you guys could see when and where he changed, so I did it all at the same time. So when he changed, I would play exactly what he was playing. But anyway, yes, it was something that was requested, and I did find it interesting myself as well. It just so happened that I had to play all of it, but it worked out fine in the end. So thank you for that, Linda. And Lisa has donated $5 again. Thank you, Lisa. The message is, if you could save time in a bottle, what time would you save? I'm not sure. I think we've all got lots of bottles in our heads that we're constantly saving up. I don't know what time I would save, because pretty much from the age of 19, I was in my first cover band and I started that up, and we used to rehearse in the garage, and that was at university. And then pretty much from then until now, I've been trying to do music on a daily basis and just tried lots of different things, and now is great. So the time that I would bottle up is probably the time that I'm experiencing at the moment with my music and all you guys being able to live stream as well, having the technology that allows me to do this and allows you guys to join me as well. And obviously the things that are going on in the world at the moment, I don't want to say that, but career-wise, the last almost 20 years is something that has led me up to this point. So I think just bottling something, I think everybody would like to bottle up the successful part of the journey and not have to go through the whole journey again, because that would be very, very difficult. So that is just something that I tend to find I'm at that point now. So it's great to be with you guys right now at the moment. But then also, if I could just bottle up maybe a couple of weeks, probably going to Disney World when I was a kid and going through all that again, because that was very good fun and very enjoyable for a kid going to Disney World, as you guys can imagine. But thank you, Lisa, for that. Orlando's in the house and has donated $20. And the message is, thank you for that, Orlando. The message is, in another live stream, I was introduced to songs in drop D. I sound like a broken record, but am not a musician. can you demonstrate the concept of drop D? If there's no time during this stream, do not worry about it. So I haven't got the acoustic guitar to hand because I could show you really easily, but I haven't got the guitar. All I've got is the electric over to my left, and that's the Fender Strat, and I'm not going to detune that because as soon as you detune a string down to D, which means it's a whole tone, the string now gets used to that tension. So it means that if I was to tighten it back up to E, by tomorrow when I come to play again, it will have gone flat, and I'll have to keep on making the string tighter and tighter until it starts to maintain its original pitch again. But sometimes it's easier with thicker strings on acoustic guitar, for example, which is why I said I didn't have that to hand. But while I'm playing the next video, I will run over and get the acoustic guitar and just demonstrate what drop D is. It's really simple. It's just taking your low E string down to D, so that you can now play chords without having to do a lot of complex positions with your fingers. You can just bar across the guitar, but I'll do that in a second. So thank you, Orlando. I'll get the guitar as well when we go through this next video. I'll do that in the background. Hopefully you won't hear me falling over in the background, knocking over guitars and ruining everything. But thank you for that, Orlando. Angela's in the house as well and has donated $5. The message is, what's NHS? So it's our National Health Service. So all of the people that have been doing an amazing job here in the UK looking after the whole country during this pandemic. And every Thursday night in the UK, we all go out onto whichever front garden we have or just out onto the street. We keep our distance, obviously, but we all applaud for the NHS, and that's something that we do on a weekly basis because they do such a great job. But that is what the money was raised for. So thank you, Angela, for that. Wang Fuzi has donated $5. Thank you for that. And the message is, have you ever considered doing a video on a genre, the San Francisco sound, e.g., instead of an artist or band? So thank you for that. Not at the moment, but I think the problem would be fitting it all into one video, covering a whole genre or a whole type of a sound. For example, outlaw country or a take on a genre. I think it would take quite a lot of time to get through it all. So I haven't thought about putting it in one video. Maybe in the future at some point it might be a series of videos. I don't know, it depends what direction things go in, but it could be interesting. But thank you for that question, Wang Fuzi, and for the donation as well. And we have Donal Logue in the house. So hello, Donal. Thank you for joining me and everybody tonight. And everybody check out the video that Donal and I did. And it's quite a while ago now, but it was on Rory Gallagher, and we spoke through lots of things and musical things, other things, actually country music as well, country artists, and Merle Haggard was in there. So we did talk about a lot of things, and there are a couple of videos on here. So search for that in the search at the top of YouTube. Just in the search bar, you'll be able to find Donal and I talking about lots of different things. But thank you for that donation of $20, Donal. And Kay is in the house as well and has donated $5, and it's the same guy doing his dance. So thank you so much for that donations, and all of you guys in the super chat window tonight for all of these donations. We are going to get into the next video, which is going to be my cover of The Boys Are Back in Town, and this was requested over on Patreon, so thank you guys for that. I have also received a message from Vince, I think, commenting on that post about potentially doing Hotel California, but unfortunately with that cover, it is one of those that is so well known for being copyright restricted, and you can't do a cover of Hotel California and put it on YouTube, unfortunately, at least not legally. I've been trying to get the legal side of it through for about 1.5 years, but still haven't got there yet. So if there are any covers on YouTube, more likely they're just getting away with it, but I would rather make sure that it's all above board. So it's not something that I can show on YouTube, unfortunately, but I have done a cover of Hotel California. It's just that nobody's seen it, or maybe a few people have seen it, but it's never been on YouTube. So maybe in the future that'll be available, but thank you, Vince, for bringing that up. This is going to be The Boys Are Back in Town, and while this is going on, I'll go and get the guitar and demonstrate what drop D is after this. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you after. Rock! Hello, Phil here. I'd like to say a massive thank you to you for watching my cover of Boys Are Back in Town by Thin Lizzy, of course. Thank you for the suggestion in the first place. The name's running up the screen here on my patrons, and I'd like to say a massive thank you to you guys for your support, making videos like this possible, and also making the videos I do every day on YouTube possible as well. So a massive thank you to you guys. It's really appreciated a lot. If you want to get involved yourself, head over to patreon.com/1 Wings of Pegasus, and if I don't see you over there, then I will see you guys at the next video. Rock! And there we have it. That was my cover, of course, of The Boys Are Back in Town, and I just noticed that I could almost have pretended that I did that and then quickly ran back here because I've got the same shirt on, but I hope you guys enjoyed that one. And we have had a little bit more action in the super chat window, so thank you guys so much. I have now got the acoustic guitar next to me, so I can just demonstrate something, well, drop D that I mentioned before the video. We'll jump into that in a second, but I'm going to have to scroll up here, so thank you guys so much. And I want to make sure that I don't miss any of these. And we had Kay, who donated $5 with the guy dancing around. And Deborah has donated $20. Thank you for that, Deborah. The message is, Phil, you are the real deal and love The Boys Are Back in Town cover. So thank you for the kind words, Deborah, and for the donation. Ian is in the house as well, and Ian has donated a crazy $133. And this is for getting to 133,000 subscribers. So thank you so much for that, Ian. And as I always say, Ian's an artist himself, so check out his YouTube channel if you get a chance. And he's releasing his own music with videos as well, so you guys can get involved over there. And thank you, Ian, as well, for covering Don't Cry, which was one of my songs that Ian's done on his channel as well, so you guys can check that out. So we've had another donation, and it's Music Maiden who has donated $5. Thank you so much for that. The message is, have you ever experienced stage fright before a gig? And the answer to that is yes, but only once. And it was only because we were doing, I don't think stage fright is the right way to explain it, because it was obviously a big gig. It was actually the semi-finals of a national competition for unsigned bands, and I did start to feel more nervous than normal, and I think it was because of the competition element of other bands playing, and then you going on and being in front of a judging panel and all that kind of stuff. But I think once you start playing, the nerves fall by the wayside, because you're then into what you've been rehearsing and you just fall into that, and then you can start to enjoy it. But certainly that was one gig that for some reason I was more nervous, or felt more nervous than normal. But ever since then, I think once you start to have a different perception of not only the music industry but performing and being an artist. That was when I was, I don't know how old, maybe in my late 20s. So I still wasn't really sure about the direction I was going in with the future of my music, and whether signing a record deal was something that I wanted anymore, and all these kind of things. So now getting up on stage, or since then, I felt a lot more relaxed, because it's having the acceptance that as an artist, you just do what you do, and the most important thing is for you to sound as like yourself as you can, and not trying to copy anybody else. And I think this is the reason why when you're in a competition, you can't really have a competition with music, but you know what Battle of the Bands is like. They make a competition out of it. So once you bring in that competitive element, you're then comparing yourself to other bands and other artists, which is the last thing that you should be doing. And since then, I've now realized wholeheartedly that the great thing about the top musicians is they're not trying to be other musicians, and the top artists aren't trying to be other artists. They're just being themselves. So if you concentrate on going up on stage and doing what you do, that's the only thing you need to worry about. So since then, I haven't really been nervous, more excited. It turns into an excitement to show people what you can do and what you're all about as an artist. But that's the only time really. But thank you so much for that donation and the question, Music Maiden. And Ray is in the house and has donated $200. Thank you so much for that, Ray. Another crazy donation, but massively appreciated. Thank you so much. The message is, your Sammy Davis Jr. analysis video meant more to me than I can say. Again, I say, this groove runs deeper than emotion. So thank you, Ray, so much for that, and for the kind words about the video that I did last night. I did mention it a little bit earlier. It did go on a little bit longer, but there's so much interesting information about Sammy Davis Jr. and also you could tell that in that performance it was like the song was written for him, even though we've covered that it was written by Jerry Jeff Walker, which I said earlier. But because he connected so much with the song, it just put that performance at a totally different level that, like I said in the video last night, I've never seen a performance like that or anybody really come close to that. So that performance for me, Sammy Davis Jr. was on a totally different level. But thank you, Ray, for the donation and the kind words as well. Orlando has donated again. Thank you for that. It's $5. The message is excellent cover of The Boys Are Back in Town. Thank you for that. So thank you for watching. And thank you everybody for tuning in and joining me tonight on the live stream and being in the live chat room, the super chat as well. If you do get a chance to hit that thumbs up, it would be massively appreciated and it really helps the channel to grow and everything good to happen. So thank you everybody who has hit that thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button. So we are going to be moving into the next video soon. I have to show you this drop D thing before I forget, and before I do that, I'm going to just get through the super chat window. We've had Karaoke Closet, who has donated $3.99. Thank you for that. And the message is, would love to hear some T-Rex from you. So thank you for that suggestion and request. And Jeannie has donated $5 as well. Thank you for that. It's a straight up donation. And Teacher Man 1955 has just jumped in and has donated $10. Thank you for that. The message is, watching your X Factor video, I can't believe Sharon gave you a no, considering who her husband was, /is rock, exclamation mark, with some rock horns. So this is, again, I think something that I've mentioned quite a lot on the live streams, but the X Factor is a show here, it's a talent show, and it just so happened that it was Sharon Osbourne who was on the panel, which is something that I wasn't paying attention, or I didn't know who the panel were going to be. I went on there to kind of prove a point about if you act crazy on a TV show, you will get featured ahead of other talented people who are genuinely talented artists and musicians, but they're not crazy and they're not TV worthy, effectively. That's how it works. So I just wanted to prove that point, and I think I did. And it's funny because in the first audition that I did, they said, you know, you've got to be more rock and roll, you've got to go a bit crazy. So I just took that as the license to do anything I wanted in the second audition. So I did, and I just went crazy, smashed up glasses and all that kind of stuff. But it is the case that when you start pushing the boundaries too far, they say, well, go crazy, be rock and roll, but not that much because it's just a TV show. So it was interesting, it was fun to do, and as you guys know, or at least the people at the time knew that I wasn't doing it seriously. It was more a parody audition just to show what the TV show's all about. And also, every time the arena audition gets shown, Simon Cowell has to pay me a royalty because I did one of my own songs and I own the rights to that, and they didn't take the rights to that because I didn't sign anything that would have given them the rights to that. So anyway, there's another side of it as well. But as I always say on this channel, if you keep control of your music, that is the most important thing, and then anybody that then wants to play it has to pay you a royalty for it. But anyway, thank you Teacher Man 1955 for that, and let's get into this drop D very quickly. So hopefully you guys are going to be able to hear this. I haven't got a plectrum, but it's okay. So you've got your standard tuning. If I'm playing an E, you can see that I've got my E shape down at the bottom of the guitar and the low E string. E is the note that you've got at the bottom there. So if I wanted to move this chord further up the guitar to a G, I'd have to do this bar chord shape, or you'll see it in the textbooks like this, but I've mentioned before about look at my wrist and the way that it's bent over. If you can play with the thumb over the top, then your arm just stays in the same position that it normally is. So you'll save yourself a lot of wrist issues. But anyway, moving on, having this bar chord here. Now, if we take the low E string down to a D, it starts to sound a little bit heavier and grungy because that's what a lot of grunge bands did. But it means now, you probably can't hear it as loudly, but I can now play a chord on these bottom 3 strings without doing anything, because the low string is now a D, and it means that I can play chords a lot faster than I would ever be able to do it with bar chords. You can just squash your finger down and you're getting the chords that you would have to otherwise play in a bar chord shape. So it really simplifies it. Obviously, with detuning, you get a heavier sound. It's going to sound like there's more attitude to it. So this is why a lot of grunge bands and also heavy metal bands and even heavier genres than that detune the guitars, because it gives it more attitude and just takes the low string of the guitars more into the bass range, so the notes that the bass guitar would be playing. And this is why you also see 7-string guitars, because then they detune the low string even further to get a really heavy and nasty sound, if that's the genre or the sound that they're after. So anyway, that was it, and I'll retune that up again later, so don't worry about it. But I hope that made sense to you guys out there. It's just taking your low E string down 2 frets effectively on your guitar, which is called a tone, and it's just 2 notes down. So it's going from E down to D, and hopefully that will make sense to you. Anyway, thank you for the question, and hopefully you could hear it as well. But we have had another donation from King Nero, who's in the house, has donated $10. Thank you for that. The message is, Phil, what guitar player influenced you most? And this was probably Jimi Hendrix, when I was listening to my dad's records when I was young, and he was the first guy that I listened to and then tried to work out what he was doing. And because my dad was into Jimi Hendrix as well, that was undoubtedly the first influence on me playing the guitar. So thank you, King Nero, for that. Let's jump into the next video, and it's already 5 to 1 in the morning here, so we're gonna have to quickly move on with these videos. Again, these were requested over on Patreon. Thank you guys for that. This is going to be We Can Fall Down, the live version of it, and it was requested by Sue, I think. Before we play this, I think it was Sue that requested this over on Patreon, but I did say that Kathleen uploaded her mug shot on the Facebook Wings of Pegasus supporters page. So let's get Kathleen up on screen. Hopefully this is going to work, because I always do this before the live stream starts and never double check it, but we will see. So here we go. This is Kathleen over on the Wings of Pegasus supporters group on Facebook. This is where she's uploaded her picture. So thank you so much for that, Kathleen, and for posing with the Spike the Likes mug. So you can pick yours up underneath this video. It's in the tray, and it looks exactly the same as Kathleen's, exactly like that, and you can fill it up with whatever you want. So thank you so much, everybody, for uploading your pictures. I do check the Wings of Pegasus supporters group on Facebook quite regularly just to see if anything's happening there, but also thank you, Laura, for letting me know over on Patreon that there was a new mugshot as well. So let's jump into this video, and this was Sue that requested this over on Patreon. I'm pretty sure it's We Can Fall Down, my live version of it, and I'll see you guys afterwards. Rock!
I got
And there we have it, and it goes straight into Art Not Commerce at that point. But that was my song called We Can Fall Down, the live version of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Thank you everybody for joining me tonight, and also for hitting that thumbs up button, because it looks like we have hit our target of 200 likes for tonight, which is amazing. Thank you everybody. Of course, if you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, you can still do that, and that goes for if you're watching this in the future and watching it on catch up. Obviously, if you are watching this in the future, you can't comment or see your comment on the live chat room because it's something that you have to be watching live in order to do. And some people sometimes still do message me afterwards in the comments section asking me to answer questions, and then they don't realize, or I guess they don't understand why I can't respond because I was live a few hours before. But anyway, it's one of those things that if you are live, well, if you're watching this live now, it is 1 a.m. in the morning, obviously, AM in the UK. So you can check that via your clocks. It's Greenwich Mean Time, and if it doesn't work out, then it's not live and you are watching this in the future. But you can still hit that thumbs up in the future because it still helps this video to get out there and for the channel to grow as a whole. So it would be massively appreciated. So let's get the super chat window up on screen again, because we have had a little bit of action in there again. So thank you guys for that. And it is Jeannie who has donated $2. Thank you for that. And the message is, just want to say, glad to be here. Cheers all, with a heart. So thank you for that, Jeannie. And I'm sure everybody in the live chat room is saying cheers to you as well. Thank you for that donation as well. So Orlando has just donated $20. Again, thank you, Orlando. And the message is, I learned the music scale in music class in 7th grade. Easy, every good boy deserves fudge. E, G, B, D, and F. Your drop D explanation did make sense. Thanks, we can't fall down, with lots of rock horns. So thank you. And this is the thing, that when you're learning to read music, I think everybody has a different a different setup, or a different word, not order, because it's always got to be the same order, but different words for the order. So for example, every good boy deserves fudge. I knew it as every good boy deserves food. And the reason I remembered that was because I thought it was a bit harsh, that you've got to be a good boy just to have food, otherwise you die. So that is something. And when you're reading music, if people don't know, it's just a way to remember when it's written down musically and you're looking at where the notes are. If you've got something that helps you to remember, which, for example, between the lines on the treble clef, I don't want to get too complicated here, but it's F-A-C-E. And that's easily memorable as face, because it is a word. But then sometimes for the lines and the notes on that, you need to come up with something. So as I said, it was every good boy deserves food is what I had. But with Orlando, it was every good boy deserves fudge. And hopefully everybody else did understand the drop D thing a little bit. It is something that sometimes you will get some musicians who detune by just a semitone, which is in E flat, and not all the way down to D, which is a whole tone and not a semitone. And especially in the hard rock bands in the 80s, they went down just half a step, so down to E flat. And that is different because they tuned the whole guitar down. They didn't just take one string, so it means that you would still have to do your bar chord shapes if you wanted to do those further up the guitar neck. But anyway, let's not get into all of that. Thank you for that, Orlando. Judy has donated $4.99. Thank you for that. The message is, love you, Phil. Always wonder who does your hair. Do you do your own hair? And with my hair, I do normally have it cut, but I don't have it styled or anything. I'm not sure what doing your own hair counts as, but I wash it and dry it. That's pretty much all I do with it. And at the moment, obviously, I can't have it cut because I think hairdressers are going to be getting back, hopefully, at the beginning of July, maybe. So around that time, I might be able to have my hair cut. So we're going to have quite a few more weeks, maybe 6 weeks more length on this hair, and we will see how long it gets to. It'll just be an interesting journey to watch the journey of my hair. It will be interesting for me. I'm not sure really that interesting for anybody else, but thank you so much for that donation, Judy. And then Amy has donated $4.99 and says, message retracted with a winky face. Thanks, Phil, and some rock horns. So this is something that Amy posted on the live stream before, and the message got retracted, or she removed the message because I was already talking about the thing that she was just asking about. So I rather stole her thunder and jumped the gun, so it was just taken out. But now we have an official message retracted by Amy, so thank you for that. And Teacher1955 has donated again $5. Thank you for that. The message is, every good boy deserves favor was a Moody Blues album title. Rock, hi Phil. Yes, it was, and that's just another example. And it seems like it always starts with every good boy deserves, and then you can pretty much make up whatever you want for that last one. But yes, fudge, food, favor, you name it, whatever whatever suits your fancy, you can put it in there. But thank you, TeacherMan1955, for that. We are going to be jumping into the last video of the night. It is 1:05. It sometimes tends to happen that the live streams go a little bit pear-shaped after 1 a.m, but hopefully this is still working. Let's get into this last video of the night. It is going to be my Percy Johnson lyric video. This was requested again over on Patreon, and it was Kevin, Abby, and Lisa who collectively, not all at once, but did individually request Percy Johnson, I think. So we'll get this up on screen. I hope you guys enjoy it. As always, I'll be in that live chat room, and I'll see you guys afterwards. Rock! have it. That was my song called Percy Johnson. And thank you everybody for requesting these videos that I do play on the live streams over on Patreon, because it gives me something to play. And thank you guys for requesting that one as well. So let's just get the super chat window up on screen. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can avoid a gremlin at the end. I know that I always tempt fate by saying that, but we will see. We're going to be calling it to a close imminently, but just before we do, we have had another donation on the super chat side of things, and this is from Carla, who has donated $4.99. Thank you for that, Carla. And the message is, you can always put it up in a man bun with a winky face. So thank you for that. And it is something that I've never done, really, not publicly anyway, putting my hair in a man bun. I don't think it really, I'm not up to speed doing all that kind of stuff. And at the moment, I only have one good hairband. And maybe this is something that other people experience, that you just have one that's really good, and it means that I can tie my hair back, but then I'm not sure if in a man bun you have your hair tied back and then you tie it back on the top, or whether it's just on the top and you let it flow down. I think that is a look that they went for in Lord of the Rings, so maybe if I'm going for that kind of look I can employ it, but not something that I have done yet. And I think probably a look that I can't pull off, and something that I should possibly avoid, but I'll just leave it as it is at the moment. I suppose the longer my hair gets, maybe I'll have enough length at the front to then tie it back, because sometimes when you have a fringe you can't tie it back anyway because it's not long enough to reach back there. But anyway, thank you, Carla, for that. Another chat about hair, but we are going to be calling this to a close. This is the other thing about the whole man bun thing. I think the opinion on it is very much divided as to whether people like it or not. And I think it's probably better for me just to totally avoid it altogether and not risk anything. But thank you, Carla, for bringing that up. So we are going to be calling this to a close now. Thank you everybody for joining me tonight on this live stream, for hitting that thumbs up button. Again, if you haven't done that, you can still do that, but we hit our target of 200 likes. And thank you for all of the donations tonight as well, because it really does help to keep everything moving flawlessly on the channel. Also allows me to do these live streams and allows me to do a new video every single night. And it's something that I enjoy doing, and as long as you guys enjoy watching them as well, I will keep on doing that for as long as possible. And with your support, of course, it means that I can do that, and I'm able to go into the future and not have to worry about things breaking, because I can replace them with your very kind donations. So thank you guys. Also, thank you patrons as well, running across the bottom of the screen, for your continued support and just supporting me as a person and this channel as a whole as well. So all of you guys over on Patreon that also pop up in this super chat window, you know who you are. Thank you so much for the continued attendance on the live streams as well. So we are going to be calling this to a close now. It says that the stream's current bit rate is higher than the recommended bit rate, so maybe that's a sign to call it a day. So thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. As always, I'm going to be doing a new video tomorrow night, and I'll be live again on Saturday night, same time, same place, for the Saturday night live stream. Just quickly, Mary has donated $2, and thank you for that, Mary. Just a straight up donation without a message. But we are going to call it to a close now. So thank you guys so much for joining me. And I'll see you guys at the next analysis video in the comments section. And if I don't see you there, I'll see you live again on Saturday night for the live stream. So have a great day or night, whatever the time is where you are. Try and stay as safe as possible. And I'll catch up with you guys live on Saturday and at tomorrow's analysis video in the comments section. I'll see you guys then. Rock!